Hi all. I know. It's not Sunday. What is the Tatted Stamper doing alive on Monday afternoon for? Well, let me just tell you. Um, you guys have been asking me to do a video tutorial on one of the cards that I showed. So I figured I would pop on real quick and do a little quick short live. I know nobody's on here live. Everyone's going to be watching the replay, and that's cool because I didn't schedule this. This is very impromptu. So, wait a minute. All right, somebody's watching. I can see someone's watching. If you're watching, drop me a comment and let me know. So I'm Tina Bigford. I'm the Tatted Stamper. Welcome to my craft room. All the things. The past 2 weeks I did a couple of cards. One I named the This Away card, and the other one I named the That Away card. And when I did the first video, I showed you a picture. I showed you the second version of the card at the end of that video, and everybody loved that card. And when I did the video yesterday morning, I showed the card again, and I have been getting lots of messages and lots of comments asking me if I would do a video tutorial on it. So I thought, I will, sure. So let's drop down to the desk camera and show you. So this is the card. Everybody has been really loving this card. So we're going to make this card. I'm going to show you how I did this card. And then, you can make your own version of this card. All right. So this is called the That Away card. It opens like this. Stands for display. Love it, love it. So I'm going to make this. I'm actually going to make this in the Lost Lagoon. And the reason I'm doing it in Lost Lagoon instead of Night of Navy is I am using one of the envelopes from the Mountain Majesties Paper Pumpkin Kit, which was, I believe it was the May 2025 kit. I don't have any more of the blue envelopes. I have used them. So I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon, but we're going to make this exact same card just in the Lost Lagoon. So let me set this out of the way here. All right. So first, and I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to add a little campfire. So I am starting with my Lost Lagoon. This is 11 inches by 4¼ inches. We're going to score this at 5½. Okay. This is just like we do any other card. I'm just going to score that at 5½. I apologize. I was just not on the camera when I did that, but you guys have seen me do that a million times. Millions of times. Okay, maybe not millions. I'm exaggerating. All right, so there's our card. Now I'll give you the dimensions for all of those other pieces as we go. So now I'm going to take my card base. I'll put this in the camera so you can see it. So this card base is 4¼ inches wide. I want to mark the halfway point. So I'm going to find, half of 4¼ is 2 1/8. So I'm just going to line this up to the 2 1/8, and I'm going to be as precise as I can because I'm working with triangles. I want to make sure everything lines up. So I'm just making a tiny little tick mark right in the middle of that channel. I don't think you can even see it. Let me just hold, please. Let me just see if I can zoom in, find my program to zoom. That one. And let me just pull this down. I'm going to line this up at 2 1/8. And just start this. I'll just do this all over again, but zoomed. So let me zoom in. There, that should be more than enough. Okay, so I'm going to line this up with a 2 1/8 inch mark right there. And then I'm going to take my pencil, and you can see now that this channel is, you know, it's wide enough for the blade, but I'm going to try to get it as like as center in that channel as I can, like that, and just make a little mark there. Okay. All right, zoom back out a little bit here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to line up that tick mark there and where the score line meets the edge here. So I'm going to put the score line, this edge right in, lined it up where it needs to be. Move my score blade out. I'm going to hold this with my finger, and I'm just going to move this side. But because I put my finger here, this side's not going to move. So sometimes when you're trying to do that, you're so focused on lining up this one. Now this one has become way off. So then you come down here and you try to line up this one, and then this one becomes way off. So I just take one side, line it up, hold it with my finger, and then rotate the other side until I have it where I want it. And then we're going to just cut. And then we're going to do the same thing to cut from this side down to that point. Like so. There. Let me just get this out of the way so you can see what I have here. I have all the way out. I have these pieces now. All these pieces. Okay. So now what I want to do, make sure that's burnished still. Now I want to cut the envelope. So we're going to take this envelope, move this out of the way. And we're going to do just a couple of really quick snips to it to get. So I'm going to save this part of the envelope, and I'm going to save the flap for another card some other day. So I want to cut this envelope. I'm going to take that bottom edge. It's a nice straight edge. And the first thing I do is I measure it. How wide is this envelope? It is 5 3/4 of an inch wide. I want it to be no more than 5 1/2. I'm going to want this piece to be even shorter than that. I'm going to trim it after, but I want to make sure that I have 5 1/2 inches here for when I do that other card. So I don't want to short myself there. So I'm going to cut this I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/2, but I'm actually going to cut, because it's 5 3/4, I'm going to cut 1/8 of an inch off of each side. So I'm going to first line this up with the 5 5/8, and then I'm going to just slice that side right off. So I'm really just taking 1/8 of an inch off of that side of that envelope. And then I'm going to flip it over so that I can cut this side also. Now this one I can put right at that 5 1/2 inch mark. And I can trim that 1/8 inch off also. Next, I'm going to come in here. I want to just take that bottom off. So I don't want to cut right at the score line. It's going to give me a little bit of a wonky edge. So I'm just going to take that fold right off altogether. I'm lining up the edge, the folded edge, with the edge of the channel, which is basically 1/16 of an inch. And I'm just going to trim that. I'm just going to trim that off. Now I have this piece and I have this piece. I'm just going to cut that flap off. But before I do that, please. Before I do that, instead of cutting right at the score line, I want to leave as much of this envelope intact for when I make my other card. So the piece that I'm going after here, I want this to be we'll do 4 inches by 5¼ inches. So I'm going to line this up. This is the side with a flap and the side with the score. So I'm going to line this up at the 4-inch mark, and I'm going to take that right off that flap right with that fold. And I'm just going to set this aside for another project. Now I'm going to rotate this, and I'm going to cut this to 5¼ inch. Now I like how this side has a lot more of the darker colors, which is why I'm cutting off this side. But you could cut off the other end if you prefer the more of the lighter look. So now I have this piece that is essentially designer series paper, and it is 4 inches by 5¼ inches. So what we did to this card base, we're going to do that same thing to this. We're going to find the midway point, and we're going to cut up to the corners. Okay, so the first thing, when I'm looking at this, I'm going to have a piece that is a triangle. So I want to decide, do I want this side up or do I want this side up? I really like this side. So I'm going to have this be my top, and this is where I'm going to mark my point. I'm also going to flip it over so that I don't have to worry about erasing my pencil mark. We're at 4 inches. So I'm going to bring this up to the 2-inch mark. Take my pencil, and I'm just going to mark right there. And I'm going to do the same thing. We have our point here. I'm going to hold that in place and just rotate this edge so that my tick mark is right in that channel. And then we're going to cut that. Then we're going to flip this around here, and we're going to cut from this point up to that point. So I'm just going to hold this one in place, rotate the top so that that tick mark is in that channel. I'm going to hold this in place. I'm bringing my cutting blade up so that it's in the middle. I don't want to cut into either one of those points. So I'm going to cut up and then down. So now I have here, I have this beautiful triangle, and then I have these 2 pieces also. Okay. So, did I have my glue? Yes. All right. So I got all of the pieces cut for this, but I didn't like put together anything. So I'm just this is just very impromptu. So we're just going to roll with it. I'm going to go ahead and put this triangle on my card. Like so. And I'm just using my multi-purpose liquid glue, otherwise known as green glue. Lots of people call it different things. And I'm just going to line that up. Nice even edges all the way around that. Get the glue off your finger, Tina. Lord. Okay. I'm just going to set that aside. Now for this one, we're going to take the 2 edges like so. Now I have a little bit of a bend in the corner of this card. It's a little bit, but that's all right because I'm going to put designer series paper on that, and it's going to, for the most part, it's going to be hidden. So I'm just going to grab a piece of Scotch tape. I'm going to put these 2 wedges together, making sure that they're lined up nice and even on the bottom and nice and tight together, and just tape them together. I'm going to do the same thing with these. So I'm just going to pull these, and this is totally fine that these patterns don't line up because you're only going to see part of it anyway. So I'm going to do the same thing, put this together nice and tight, and we're going to put a little clear tape on that, like so. Then we can adhere this to this. I'm going to just pick this up, add my glue, cap went on crooked. All right, I'm gonna need something to help me pick this one up. I'm gonna get glue on my fingers. It's inevitable. All right, it's all right. Let's put this one on. Okay, like so. And it's okay. I have a little bit of a gap up here from the designer series paper and a little bit here. You're not going to see any of that. You're only going to see these corners here. So beautiful, beautiful. If you're watching, drop me a comment. Let me know you're watching. So we're just going to, I'm going to line this up at the bottom. So I'm taking this is the triangle that kind of hinges because it is basically sliced in half there. And I'm just going to open up my card base, line this up right along the bottom. So it matches the bottom edge and the points match corner to corner. Like so. I'm going to close my card. Now I am going to grab a couple of Post-it notes. Post-it notes will act, these are going to do double duty. So I'm going to put the Post-it note on here. I'm going to line it up right along the edge of that triangle. And it's off that bottom triangle onto the back, the card base, so that it's going to hold that triangle in place. And then I'm going to just grab a second one and do the same thing on this side. Like so and like so. This card is super fun to make. So if you don't already follow me on Facebook, if you have Facebook and you don't already follow me on Facebook, there will be a link to my Facebook page on this. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to trim the little tip there. So I'm going to just do that now. So you do want to trim the tip of your inner triangle, this inner triangle, if it gets too close to the score line, because you don't want that tip to bend and interfere with the way the card opens and closes. So just going to trim that off. Perfect. That looks good. So now we have our Post-it notes here. When we open our card, it exposes the area on here that we can put our adhesive. So we're not getting glue anywhere outside of where we want it. Hi, Sally. Good. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Yes, this one's super fun to make. So as I was saying, if you have Facebook and you don't already follow me over there, there will be a link to there's a link to my Facebook page in every one of my videos. So click on the link, give me a follow. You're going to see all of the alternates posted over there. You can, if you make this card, you can post a picture of your card on that post. I would love to see them. So I just put glue just everywhere that was exposed on there. So now all I have to do is close my card and give that a nice press. Like so, and I can pull my Post-its off. Now I am holding here steady while I'm pulling my Post-it notes off, just so that nothing shifts while that glue is still setting. There we go. So far so good. So this is the base of our card. This is it. This is how it looks. Yay. Okay. So now we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. I'm going to set this aside. I am using, for the dies, I am actually using the Scenic Adventure set. This is, I don't know why I love it, but I think the reason I loved it was the mountain ones for some reason. I've made a couple of really cute cards with that, but we're going to be using this set of trees and this little tree, and we're also going to be using the fire and the wood logs. I'm going to set this other stuff aside. Okay. And we're going to be using one of the sentiments from that also, but let's just do this die cutting first. All right, pull in my die cutter. Move this mess out of the way. Okay. And I'm going to pull in some. Now I just have scrap pieces of my Lost Lagoon because it's anything that fits your die. So I went on and I said, oh, I have the scrap piece and look, the trees fit there perfect. So there. And I'm going to go ahead and put this small one on here so we can cut those both at the same time. Do that. And then I'm going to take this little piece of pecan pie and put my little logs, my fire logs on there, and this little piece of pumpkin pie and put the fire on there. Now, I'm not using Post-it notes on this. Normally I would if I didn't want my dies to shift, but I think these will be fine. And then I'm just going to roll that through the cutter. Rolling, rolling, rolling. All right, there. So I'm just going to push all of that to the side. We'll take a look at those after. I need to cut 2 more trees. So 1 more of this die here. Grab this out of this. And I'm going to cut 2 more of the little trees. So I need that die. I'm just going to pull that die cutting machine back in. Like so. Another piece of scrap paper. It was just big enough to cut. It accommodated this die, so yep, works for me. Put that on there and roll that through. Okay, and then just 1 more of the little tree. Let's take that one out. Push this. Now, normally I would use my take your pick tool for this, but my tweezers are handy. So, and my take your pick tool is not. So I'm just going to load that back in. 1 more tree. All right, get that out of our way. All of that. Get our stuff here. All right, let's get some of this out of the way. We have our, I'm distracted by my dog is barking his full head off downstairs. I don't know why. Okay, poke that one out and this one. We can those aside and take this one out. And this one I'm just going to, again, normally I would use my take your pick tool and I would just roll with that brush. I would roll all of those right out. Like that. Okay. And brush it all on the floor. Clean it up later. Okay, so now let's pull our card back in. And this is what I did. This is what I did on the Night of Navy card. I put 1 here, like what, right about here. And then I positioned this one down a little bit. I think like right around here, enough to leave this edge exposed. So I'm just going to figure out where I want to place these. And I think maybe I'll come in here a little bit more like this. Have that one more center, that one not. They can overlap, however. And then we're going to put the 3 small trees on this edge here. That's how we're going to do those. Okay, like that. So I'm going to do, I know I want the 3 smaller trees along this edge, so I'm just going to go ahead and do those first. Now you can do glue dots, you can do your liquid glue, however you want. You can do whatever you want. I'm actually going to pop them up on dimensionals. So I'm just going to grab some mini dimensionals here and load those on. I'm just going to put one full-size dimensional here. And then, where are my scissors? Where are my scissors? Jamadi, hello from British Columbia. Okay, welcome. So I'm just going to trim up a couple of pieces here, just little narrow pieces that I can put on the narrow part of those trees, like so. There. Oh, I pulled the backing off with that one. Okay, and there. And one more there. Okay, so I'm going to put the first one on. Now, what I did on the blue card, what I did was I figured out where I wanted the tree to go and how long I wanted the trunk of the tree. I did trim the trunk at an angle just to give it more of a realistic look. So I'm just going to peel that backing off and put that one on. And I'm just putting that, let me see if I can zoom in on that again. I'll zoom in as far as I can there. Yeah. All right. So I trimmed that tree, that trunk off at an angle, and I'm just going to I'm going to line it right up with that edge and pop it there. Now, the trunk of the tree is not attached. There's no way I am trimming any kind of a dimensional small enough for that. So it's just going to be there, and I'm okay with that. So then I took this one, my next one, and I figured out, well, where do I want that one to be? Okay, it's going to be up a little bit higher. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just trimming at an angle right down at the bottom of that trunk. And then pull those dimensional backings off like that and position that one up just a little bit. Now I want to make sure, so I've got where the placement is, I don't want to go above this. So I have to be very careful where I place this next one, but I'm doing the same thing. Do a nice little right at the very bottom, do a nice little trim angle, pull those backings off. Oh my goodness. And then place this one. Now, this one, I am going to use my tweezers and hold on to this one on the side so that I can see where my top is. I don't want to go above that. So I'm just going to come down here. Oops, be all crooked. All right, this one is a little bit too much. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to trim a little bit more off of that just to make the tree a little bit shorter. And there I go. There's my 3 trees. Yay. Zoom back out. So there are the 3 trees. And now we're going to do kind of the same thing here. I liked, with the blue card, I put one of these I adhered with just glue. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to do tiny little, drops. You want to be real light-handed with this glue. And it's okay if it's not, I mean, people aren't going to be picking this off the card. So it's okay if you don't have the whole thing covered in glue. So I'm just going to kind of center that one in the middle. And I think I might want to check. Yep, I had glue here and a dimensional. Look at me. All right. Put that one up too high with a dimensional. So I got to peel that off. Don't do what I did. I'll get that off after. Yeah, there. Perfect. Make sure that your dimensionals don't go too high up there. Don't do what I did. All right, so now we're going to take this set of trees. This set I'm going to put on dimensional. So here we go. This whole die cut will be on this. So I'm just going to be, I am okay putting dimensionals anywhere on here. I just want them where they're not going to be seen through any of those little gaps in the die. And one more, I think, down here, and that'll be good. Perfect. And we'll do that. Peel these off. My thumbnail broke on my right hand, and I used it to peel my backings off. I can't seem to find my take your pick tool at the moment. All right, so peel all of those off. And there's that. And we're just going to pop this one on here. This one's up on dimensionals. And then we're going to, I didn't do this on the blue card, but I really like this. So we're going to put a little campfire down here in the corner. And I'm going to go ahead and use my liquid glue to put the, you know, the little campfire logs on here. So we can put that there. And we can use a dimensional to put the fire on. So it sticks up a little bit. Like so. And like that. You can do that. All right. And then the last part is really just doing the inside of our card. So the inside of the card, I have a piece of basic white that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. That is because if you have watched my videos, you know I like a really narrow border around the inside of my cards. If you don't, if you like a wider border around, you can do 4 by 5 1/4, and that's totally fine. So I'm positioning this in here, but I'm not gonna glue it yet because I want to stamp on it, but I want my sentiment to be seen from the front of the card. So I'm going to be using from the Scenic Adventures, I'm going to be using this that says cheers to another. So we'll just pop that on, grab my Lost Lagoon, ink that up, just pull this towards me a bit, and I'm just going to check the spacing. Where do I want it? Now, none of the trees are going to interfere with where I'm stamping it, or if they are, I can shift it. I can do, it's my card. I can put that stamp where I want it. Good there. Cheers to another. And then for the inside, I'm going to use that happy birthday stamp from the Charming Day. So that's this one here. I'm using that one right there. And I'm just going to ink that up. I keep hitting the stand that's holding my laptop up. So when I switch the camera to me, I'll have no idea what you all will be able to see. Probably my whole mess. All right. So when I'm doing this one, I want to make sure that where I place the happy birthday stamp, that it's going to be hidden by this. So I want to make sure that it's going to be within this. So I don't want to stamp it too high, too low. And I want to make sure that I'm stamping this in a position where I want it just high enough so that it leaves you room to write your message on the inside without having your handwritten message exposed in the opening. So I'm just going to come in here, put that up there like so. And then I can put this in. Now, a couple of reasons I don't glue it in first before I stamp is the obvious one. If you stamp and make a mistake there, get little rub marks or smudges or anything, you can always flip it over. But also because I want to be able to see where I'm going to be able to position it and where I'm going to be able to stamp. So there and there. That in there. And then I'm going to put some embellishments on it. Now for the blue card, I just used I used little rhinestones here that kind of went with it. So these are actually little rhinestones that I got at my local dollar store. And I have Stampin' Up! Embellishments that I can put on here, but I want to show you, where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, got it. My Take Your Pick tool. Hey, I want to show you that you can put, so you could put Lost Lagoon embellishments on here. I actually really wanted to, for this one, because there's so much Lost Lagoon going on, I'm going to actually lean into that pumpkin pie. And I'm going to grab and you could put these, you could put the green ones on if you wanted, but I'm going to lean into that pumpkin pie, and I'm going to use these orange ones. And I'm just going to put a couple there, like so. And then I'm going to put another one over where? We'll put it right here, like so. And that's our card. It's literally as easy as that card is. Super, super easy, fun. Love this one. This one's really cool with that. So one of the reasons that I just needed to come up with something I could use that envelope for. So this is it. Beautiful. So there's that one, and there's that one. And hold on, let me just grab I'll show you the other ones. So there was this one, in case you didn't see my video yesterday, I mean, you can go look at it, but here are some of the other ones. So this is the one made from that Birthday Fancy online kit, like that. And we have, oh my goodness, I put them all away. We have, okay, so we have this same card, but done in the other direction. So this card is this direction. This is the one that I called the This Away card. So we have the This Away card and the That Away card. So this away or that away. So we have all of those that we did. And yeah, I can't seem to, I put them away. I wasn't planning on doing, was not planning on doing a live. Oh, here's one. So this is the That Away card, so the one that goes lengthwise but in a vertical position. So this is one, it's done exactly the same way, except instead of putting my elements on the card in a horizontal fashion, I did it in a vertical fashion. So there's that one. And we have, see some more of this one here. So that one there. And we have, for the This Away card, you can also have the This Away card done in the horizontal instead of a vertical. So that's it. Easy peasy. So for those of you who asked for a video tutorial to do this card, here you go. I actually really love this one so much with that little fire on it. I think I'm going to put that little campfire over here on this one because it is super cute. All right, let me just switch the camera back to me. This is just a really quick one. Let me switch the camera back to me. Hi, here I am. Oh yeah, I did switch. I did a little bit there. Oh yeah, you can actually see my cat sleeping in her cat tree right there. She was climbing on this cabinet yesterday during my video to get to her cat tree. So anyway, so that's the That Away card. Using the Scenic Adventures bundle with those beautiful die cut trees and making it more, I feel like it's kind of a little bit more of a masculine look for that card. So yeah, if you, I'll do at the end of this video, I'll put all of the description, I'll put all of the links in and everything that I used for this one so that you can just click on that. And yeah, so I'll be back. My usual time is Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching and you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing or clicking on the links that I'm going to put in the description of this video to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I added the Instagram one there, so I got to get better with that. So yeah, I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you, British Columbia. Thank you, Sally. Thank you guys for joining. I will see you on